let him do him.
But is something wrong with that, though, Perk? Is something wrong with understanding my role when it comes to nut crunch time? Much like you said, what's your big saying? What's the big saying that you say? You are who you are, and he is who he is. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all.
Yeah. No, and Keith, look, check this out. Don't get so hostile, my brother. All I'm saying is, there's nothing wrong with it. Listen, there's nothing wrong with it at all, okay? But at the end of the day, the question was, what did he prove to us last night? And all I said is that he proved that he's a certified Robin. It's nothing wrong with being Robin, because you obviously could have been other characters in the Batman movie, but you Robin, so that means you was the co-star. There's nothing wrong with it.
He's just the Joker right now.
No,
because
I'm glad he
Perk told me I won the argument.
Though.
That's all that matters.
I'm glad he answered the call from all the criticism. Now Game 7 comes up. They move from Milwaukee to Brooklyn. Can he answer the call again? Because after Game 5, as you know, Perk, people wanted his head. It's like, yo, dude, we gave you all this money. You're the 2-time MVP, reigning defensive player, and you're not living up to the bill, but he did in Game 6.
Well, I'm going to say this. He answered the call offensively. I'm still waiting on the former defensive player of the year in him to answer the call, because he tried to trick us and tried to pick up James Harden last night with a pulled hamstring, and James Harden started torching him. So look, I'm still waiting on that. I'm still waiting on the defensive player of the year, first team all defense. I want to see that. I want to see Giannis sit down and guard somebody. I want to see Giannis actually have an impact on the defensive end. He has not shown that all series long. That's what I need to see out of Giannis.
That's how I feel. If you're not guarding him, like let's say Game 7, we're Saturday night, we're in the fourth quarter, we're in a tight game, right? And let's hope we are, because that'd be a lot of fun to see. And if that's going on and it's KD, you're Giannis, if you're not like waving off everybody else, I got this. I've got this guy now. These are the possessions that matter. If you're not doing that, then you should take those trophies off your shelf and give them back. Because that's how you earn those trophies. Yes, I know it's voted in the regular season, but that's what the whole league. Players are watching this saying the same damn thing. You know it, Perk. Players are watching those games wondering, why is Giannis guarding Landry Shamet? You need to be guarding Kevin Durant so your team can win a Game 7 and move on in the postseason.
I don't know about that one, man.
Right.
I got to have him on both ends of the floor. If I try to put him predominantly on KD, I lose that offensive energy that we need, because Chris Middleton can't win the game and score all the points by himself. I understand he had a great game at home, but when Chris Middleton goes on the road, things change for him a little bit. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful thinking that Chris Middleton can continue to be Batman in these situations.
Okay, well, let's talk a little about Batman and Robin, because Giannis and Chris Middleton become the second pair of teammates to score 30 points and have 10 rebounds in multiple games within a playoff series. The other two to do that, Kobe and Shaq in the 2002 Western Conference Finals. We'll debate Batman and Robin for that one maybe another day. All right, guys, let's move on to our next topic in the NBA. Game 6 in the ATL tonight with the 76ers on the brink of elimination. The Hawks feeling nothing but confident after pulling off a come-from-behind victory in the last two games. The deficit 26 points in the third in Game 5. Now, 4 of the 5 largest blown postseason leads in the last 2 years have been by Doc Rivers' coach teams. Okay, here we go. Doc Rivers' coach teams have also lost 10 series in which they led the series at some point. That's already 2 more than any other coach in NBA history. Now, as a note for tonight's game, Joel Embiid, again listed as questionable. He has been listed as questionable for every game this series, but has yet to miss any time. But just a little note ahead of that game. Okay, so 76ers, Hawks, who was the most important player in this game?
It's Ben Simmons. In a number of reasons. He's got to score. He can't be afraid to shoot. Can't be afraid to go to the cup and get fouled and go through the free throw line. Yeah, they're going to foul him in the fourth quarter, but he has to knock down the free throws. That way he can stay on the floor and play defense on Trae Young or whoever he needs to guard, Lou Williams, whoever it may be. That is why he has the size, the length, the athletic ability to be able to do those things. He cannot afford to be afraid to shoot the damn basketball. You can't be afraid to do that. We're not asking him to be 20 or 20, but we're asking him to just shoot the ball. Give a reason for them to foul you other than just grabbing you in the fourth quarter. He is the most important dude in this game. It's not Joel Embiid. It's not Trae Young. It's not Capello. It is Ben Simmons. And I think he would say the same thing.
You know what? You're right. It is Ben Simmons. For the Hawks, he's the most important player for Atlanta because when we get to the fourth quarter, you know what's going to happen. They're going to keep testing him. And it's not really just testing him physically anymore. It's testing this right now. We're learning a lot about Ben Simmons and how much he likes to be challenged, or maybe not likes it. The most important player is Joel Embiid. And I didn't even bother to look up the on-off, plus-minus analytics and all that stuff to prove that when Embiid's on the court, the Sixers are just the better team in this series. Not worth it. The eye test tells you everything. When he's on the floor, they're a better team. When he comes off the floor and Dwight Howard comes in, that's when the Hawks make their push. These last two comebacks have been about the fact that Embiid could not be on the floor. I know, you'll tell me, he missed a ton of shots in the second half, that he couldn't finish a layup in Game 5 or Game 4. I understand that did happen. But in Game 5, when Embiid was on the floor, the plane was balanced. When he came off the floor, turbulence. They can't afford that. They've got to manage his minutes early so he's on the floor for most of what they can in this game so they can survive.
Well, you know what? I can't believe the disrespect that I'm constantly getting when it comes down to Ice Trae and Trae Young. He's the most important player in Game 6. Club ATL's gonna be rocking. Ice Trae is gonna be in the building. And mind I tell y'all, is look, listen. In Game 5, right? Game 5, in Game 4, Ice Trae took over that game by dropping, 18 dimes? He shot 9 for 26 from the field. He had 25 points, but he facilitated for others. Did you see what he did in Game 5? In Game 5, he came out and he had a 37-piece wing dinner when it mattered the most. Trae Young has been flying under the radar, and this is the problem that I have. Everybody want to talk about Ben Simmons and him not shooting free throws, and rightfully so, Key. You're right about that, because if I'm Doc Rivers, I'm thinking about maybe sitting him down in the fourth quarter, especially if he's not giving me nothing on the defensive end. But the way that Trae Young has been dominating this series and has been flying under the radar has been beyond disturbing to me, because if this was with Luka Doncic in the same position, they would be ready to put a statue out there somewhere in front of the building. But Trae Young, he gets no type of acknowledgement. He gets no type of credit. This Hawks team has overachieved and beyond. This Hawks team is one game from going to the Eastern Conference Finals. One game and knocking off the number 1 seed. This man has been flat out balling all this year. He was an all-star snub. He was an all-NBA snub. Somebody got to put some respect on this man's name, and I'm here to take up for him today.
You know, Big Perk, the same way we talk about Giannis guarding KD, this is why I say Ben Simmons. You say that Trae Young is the most important guy in this game. Ben Simmons is the most important because he needs to take Trae Young out. And if he's not on the floor, that's not going to be done by nobody else. So that's why he's the most important to me.
Well, Keith, listen to this. You remember when you just told me about my All-NBA, he is who he is? Ben Simmons is on that list, okay? He is who he is. And what's happening is that if he's not locking in on Trae Young, and Trae Young is able to maneuver and get down the court and get wherever he wants and facilitate, causing the defense to collapse because he's blowing by him, then he's a liability. Because one thing we all know, he's not going to give you anything on the offensive end. Forget making free throws, forget making jump shots. Ben Simmons is not even making layups and dunks right now. Mentally, he's just not there. So I'm looking at it right now, and I know what Ben Simmons could do defensively. But right now, mentally, he looks mentally drained. He looks emotionally drained, and I don't know if he can recover.
Matisse Thybulle can still guard. You can still have him out on the floor, and he can actually knock down a shot. I don't think that's a major issue at that point, but Doc's going to face, and he might have to face it in this game. And I'll tell you what, you wonder about this team mentally, What if they do, the Sixers I'm talking about, take another big lead? Yes, you're on the road, and that building got loud. You got to give it credit to the ATL, to those fans at State Farm Arena. Like, they have been fantastic as a home crowd, and you haven't been able to say that a lot about Atlanta sports and their fandom. They don't really come out for their teams historically, but they really have for this team. They love this team. So there's going to be momentum in the building, but if Ben Simmons is getting caught up in it and he can't make a free throw and he's maybe checking out, Doc's going to have to take him out of the game. That's a tough decision to make, but you got to do what's best for the team.
The road could be in his favor, though, being on the road.
We will see if he even, we won't even talk about making a shot, if he even attempts to take a shot in the fourth quarter, because Ben Simmons hasn't even attempted a shot in the fourth quarter for the past 2 games. So we'll see what happens. That we know ATL is going to show out for this game. Okay, Perk, you're coming back with us. But before we leave, can we get a carry on?
Yeah, carry the hell on. Except for you, Charlie. Everybody else, carry the hell on.
All right, well, we have a lot more to get to here on First Take. Luka Doncic making it very clear he's unhappy in Dallas, and also everything unfolding in Big D. So the timing is very interesting. We'll have the latest plus reaction as First Take rolls on. And speaking of unhappy stars, the Aaron Rodgers situation growing more awkward by the day. Is it time for the Packers to just get